ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are listening to this talk on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We are here in 5th chapter, and earlier we have seen this discussion which was going on about the person who is perfected in this path, the yogi, and how the discussion moved from person to principle. And then two remarkable verses come, verse number 14th and verse number 15th. In the last class we saw the 16th verse, where the discussion again moved to the person. Here the person is who has perfected this path of yoga. Here Bhagavan is trying to extol, trying to erect or keep an ideal in front of Arjuna, and thus before everyone else, the ideal of sannyasa. What is true sannyasa? He means because this question, this chapter, 5th chapter, started with the Arjuna's question of confusion, that what is better in between these two, yoga, karma yoga, that is karma yoga, or sannyasa. So karma or renunciation of karma, karma yoga or karma sannyasa. So Bhagavan rather unifies these both ideas and keep an ideal that true karma sannyasa is true karma yoga only, and true karma yoga is true karma sannyasa only. So the ideal of yoga and sannyasa integrated, and how the nature of the person, it is best to understand from the person, because it is easier for us, and this methodology Bhagavan has employed since we have seen in the 2nd chapter in the form of Sthita Prajna Lakshana. So what is the nature, what is the way of behaving of the person, what is the attitude, what is the mental frame of such an yogi, Jivan Mukta Mahapurush, Paramahansa Purush. So how he conducts himself. So these following verses, they are one of very beautiful and very exalted words ever spoken. So, to me personally, I find no other piece of literature as inspiring as Gita. I do not find it stale. I do not find it repetitive. So, Sri Ramakrishna used to praise it. Raja Maharaj used to say that whenever he is saying that whenever his mind is down, what he used to do is to read 1 or 2 chapters of Gita. So this 5th chapter is especially about the Sannyasa Yoga. So it is the epitome of Karma Yoga. So in the 16th verse, we have seen what he had said, what Bhagavan was saying, that this ajnanam, but, tu means but, tad ajnanam, that ignorance, whose it is destroyed, removed, esham tu tad ajnanam jnanena nashitam, it destroyed by knowledge, atmanah jnanena, atmanah ajnanam, this is the ajnanam, the ignorance with respect to the self, the identity of the self, the knowledge of the self. This ignorance about the self is removed. For such people, tesham, this jnanam prakashayati, that it reflects like the sun in its full glory, adityavat, tesham jnanam adityavat prakashayati tatparam, this knowledge then reflects that highest, tatparam, param is highest. So denotes or signifies or points in the direction of the highest truth, the superconscious nature of our being. It is directing in that direction. So now about such people. Now these people whose ignorance is destroyed, and that the highest truth is shining in their heart. It is not now without any intermediary, without any medium, they are having the direct perception of it, aparoksha anubhuti. So they are the people here as the subject of discussion, and what is their nature like. So this is what Bhagavan is saying about them. Tad buddhayah tadatmanah tannishthah tatparayanaha. This is the 17th verse. Tad buddhayah tadatmanah tannishthah tatparayanaha gachanti apunaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Tad buddhayah. So these people who are under discussion, who have become perfect, who have the direct, immediate experience with the highest reality, Tat Param, and known that reality as their own being. So, Tat. So, this word, especially that, Tat, if I so to say translate, because Tat is in neutral gender. It is not Sa, Sa. Sa is Pullinga. So, it is masculine gender. Sa, like we use for Devi. So, this is feminine gender. And Tat is neutral gender. So, for Atman or Purusha, many times, because grammatically word is Pullinga of masculine gender, and this masculine gender is used, but many other times to denote the nature of the reality, this Tat, this pronoun is used, which signifies that there exists no gender in the true being of the person. Whether he is a man or she is a woman, regardless of that, the true being is genderless. The nature of that reality, so this Tat word, many times it comes, and many times just by this word Tat, that reality is implied. So, Tad Buddhaya. So, his Buddhi has become Tad Akara. Well, what does it mean? That something when you are after, you are pursuing, you are contemplating all the time, so you become immersed with that subject matter, and you are totally soaked in that subject matter, and you are full of it. Suppose somebody is a musician, suppose somebody is a great painter, or any other, maybe a sports person, or any other matter for that, any other walk of life, any other profession, anything any person has chosen, which is all consuming, and day and night, or always in all his states, waking or in dreaming, he is within that, within the limits of that specified subject only. There are no other thoughts. The life is continuous meditation, continuous pursuit. And these people in otherwise secular walk of life, also we call them sometimes legends, isn't it? Because as if difficult to be true. That's what we call a legend. So when we were I was young, and naturally cricket is very popular in India, and Sachin Tendulkar at that time he was peak of his performance, and we used to love everything to read about cricket and Sachin Tendulkar. So sometime some of his interview, so I read one line about him. So how people miss it shows us that whether it is cricket, in sport, or any profession, any walk of life, how success come, how people can rise, climb to such heights of excellence, of achievement. It does not come cheap. So his probably this was said by his friend Vinod Kambli. So even when he was a great, already great sportsman, counted in the one of the best ever. So till that time his practicing hours were between 8 to 11 hours, even those times. So indoor, outdoor, every way, different ways of working out, practicing. So Vinod Kambli had said that he not only play cricket, think cricket, he dream cricket, he sleeps cricket, he eat cricket, he lives cricket. That's what he said. He lives cricket. So not only that, means we will find similar examples of I read this example about most likely Edison, Thomas Alva Edison. So he was he has one laboratory in his own house, and he was pursuing some problem and trying to figure it out, and he was all consumed in it, but not able to make a breakthrough. His wife was observing that for continuous several days he has almost shut down in his laboratory, and he's just coming out of for his say food or nature's call. That's it. So, and one particular evening when he was looking very tired, fatigued, so his wife is offering him some refreshment. She had said that I am observing you, I am watching you, that it's all right, but why don't you take a break? Then he asked that what do you mean by break? That rather you refresh yourself, go to a place so that you will be able to relax your mind and maybe come up with a fresh idea which will probably able to thaw the ice or break the ice. So so he said, so what kind of place? Then she said, yes, the place probably you would love most to visit, that kind of place. He said, nice idea, and immediately went into his laboratory and closed the door. So this giving your everything to something, this idea, we see this idea profusely in the life of great saints, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna also. To become consummate with one idea. And that's how the people like Sri Ramakrishna, etc., he had said to Swami Turiyananji that it is not, don't think that you are suppose working hard, so it is enough. You have to give more than 100%. Now what is the idea of more than 100%? It is very difficult for us even to form an idea of what is like 100%. What is the idea of more than 100%? So that this last factor, that you are giving 100%, so you must reap the result, you must gain the result. You have to drop this idea. You have to get rid of this idea and become fully absorbed. That's how excellence of any high order can be achieved in life. Or then, if our efforts are oriented in such a way, or rather we would say we should expect according to our efforts. If we do not think, we do not believe that our efforts are of this magnitude, then we have no reason to complain or to ask anything of such high order. So tad buddhaya, that buddhi, that intellect is fully absorbed, soaked into that. Now that what? That principle, that reality, the knowledge of it is all consuming. The knowledge of it is in itself is an experience. You have the experience of it, you lose total outer consciousness. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, ego is totally destroyed, individuality is totally destroyed. So where from it can come back to in individuality? It is impossibility. Impossibility, like Sri Ramakrishna said, the doll made up of salt went to sea, went to measure the depth of the ocean. Now ocean is salt made up of salty water. So that salt dissolves into it. So where from that again a salt doll can be created? It is impossible. But a closest experience to it, the Savikalpa Samadhi, where only a thin membrane remains in between the total removal of the individuality and the truth. So these avatars are different people, they are impossibility. They are impossibility. They shouldn't exist, but they do. That's what we can infer. So, tad buddhaya. So, the knowledge of it, the experience of it is of the such high order that it can consume everything. So, tad buddhaya, that person's mind is completely wrapped by that experience. You have some kind of experience and you many times you are so shaken, suppose of the fear or of any other kind of good or bad kind of experience. The thrills of it, or chills of it, whatever. So, you are not able to get rid of for certain time. Maybe for 1 hour or 1 day or few days. Maybe you had a very excellent, nice trip vacation at certain place, or you attended some probably spiritual retreat at some place, and it was very exalting. Whatever kind of good, bad experience, that your mind was consumed by that experience in such a way that you could still feel it. Probably sometimes if you eat really good food, some good food that you had probably never eaten, and after some time also, or maybe after some months, just by recollectedness, if you can remember the taste, or rather you can say feel the taste of it, or the smell of something. These are sensory experiences, see. And there is then the psychological experience. Now this is still deeper than that, the spiritual experience. So naturally it is going to be, it is on the more subtler plane. So it is going to be more powerful, more pervading, more sustaining. So tad buddhaya. The person who is having such experience cannot be without that. Tad buddhaya. He cannot shake this off. His buddhi will be completely soaked into it. into that experience. The experience of that reality, of that super consciousness, uniform, coherent, one unit existence. Tad buddhayah. So, tadatmanah. Tad atmanah or buddhi, and here we can say atmanah is man. His heart and brain, his buddhi and man, both are absorbed in it. Tad atmanah, tan nishtha. So, he like nishtha, what we say generally as a loyalty, that may be of a servant to his master, or of a dog to his master, of an animal like a horse to his master, or where there is a but with animals it is more instinctive, but where in human beings many times it's a matter of choice, and the people who maintain that, who inculcate that, we consider that as a great virtue, nishtha of a sati, a patni, towards her husband. So, tan nishtha. Now, here, what it is not matter of choice, it is he is rooted into it. Tan nishtha. That he is not making choice, he is full of that superconscious experience. That no matter, no moment of his is without the touch of that superconscious experience. Tannishtha. So constantly steadfast in it. Tat parayana. So this is also. So parayana means what he is pursuing, that he is constantly pursuing that Brahman, that Atman, that reality, that truth alone, in any form, through the person, through the people, through the places, through different activities or thoughts, or without thoughts. So inside out, that person across the space or time is completely immersed, permeated by that experience only. So this is the state of that person who has esham tu ajnanam jnanena nashitam atmanah tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. The person who is having that highest experience, which was the 16th verse. So tad buddhayah tadatmanah tad atmanah tannishthaha tad parayanaha. And this is the state of the person. Tad buddhayah tadatmanah tannishthaha tad parayanaha. Whether in the speak in terms of a jnani or speak in the terms of a bhakta, whosoever. Tad buddhayah tadatmanah tannishthaha tad parayanaha. Now this person gachanti apunaravrittim. Avrittim itself means repetition. Puna avrittim means again repetition. And apunaravrittim here means this repetition of what? Of birth and then death. This the cycle of janana marana. Punaravrittim, this word implies to that, signifies that the cycle of birth and death. So this person, gacchantya apunaravrittim, the state of non-return. Punarvrittim is if the cycle, apunarvrittim is the state where you do not return. He attains to that state, gacchantya apunarvrittim, because he is completely dissociated with the idea of this lower self, which comprises the self as the body and mind. He gets completely dissociated. That idea is completely dissolved. He is perfectly grooved, has become one with this idea that I am that truth, that super consciousness. I am that alone. And this dream of body and mind, this nightmare ends. Gacchantya apunarvrittim. This, and who? These people whose jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha, that is, this in the second chapter it comes. Kalmasha is the dirt, here in the sense of impurities in your hridaya. Now, for such people, what kind of kalmasha? Earlier in this chapter itself, this idea came, yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. So, atma shuddha and here kalmasha. Of what kind of dirt, what kind of impurities? Only this idea that I am something other than this super conscious, one without a second, advitiyam, infinite consciousness, this infinite being, infinite reality. Any idea in short of it is impurity. I am also body, I am also mind, I am such and such person, and also I have a consciousness, is the impurity. Any idea of anything exists other than that Satchidananda Brahman is the impurity. So all impurities are washed off. Nirdhutah, nisheshenah, dhutah. Dhuta means washed off. Nisheshena means there is no reminder. Nothing is left. Completely washed off. Absolutely. This impurity of anything short of this highest realization. All washed off. Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. By that knowledge. By that experience. And thus this person attained to this immortality. The state of non-return. Immortality, how? If he is not born, then only he is become immortal. If he is born, then he is sure to die. He cannot become immortal. Immortality is getting free of this bondage, of this compulsion to be born. He is freed from the now this pushing force of, binding force of karma phala. He has freed himself. How? By dissolving the ego. By dissolving this chit jada granthi, as Bhagavan Shankaracharya puts it, chit jada granthi. The one which is chetan cannot be jada. One which is not matter cannot be matter. So, by dissolving that knot, he attains to this immortality. Gacchantya, gachanti apunarvrittim. Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Now, this person, when they, that is now this, what is said about in this 17th verse, it is more of his internal aspect of his being. So how is like seeing from within that person? Tad buddhaya tadatmanah tat nishtha tat parayana. But when it is experienced from outside, how it will be? So how world will see it? So the ways how the world will see it is it has been put into this next verse. So this verse, what does it read? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. This is the one part. Vidya Vinaya means Vidya. You know that Vidya means education, knowledge. Okay. So here Jnana and Vidya. This for Jnana, if we use the word knowledge, sometimes Shiksha, this word is used for what we say, education. Then Vidya word is also we find in Upanishads and Vedas. And here Vidya word comes. So Vidya, this word in Vedas or Upanishad, this word comes. Or different kinds of Vidyas which were spoken into, we find that their references in Vedas and Puranic literature, etc. So Vidya is sort of science and art combined. So what does it mean, science and art combined? So when science is something perfected, and then you call it the state of art something. So science of making swords or forging a metal in a particular way, or there is a secret art of masonry, art of making some kind of arch or some kind of another kind of system. So traditionally maintained. So that is a Vidya. That is a Vidya. A particular set of skills. That is Vidya. It is acquired through discipline under the discipleship of a proper master, instructor. That is Vidya. So there required some hardship. There requires effort, time, and you earn that something. So Vidya. So all education for that matter can be considered as a Vidya. But Vidya, this word especially, sometimes when it comes in context, so this kind of Vidya or that kind of Vidya, so we have to understand that it is particularly a discipline. Somebody has to master, somebody has to learn, which is available in particular lineage of the people in a particular generation, in parampara, etc. Vidya. So Sangeeta Vidya or Nritya Vidya or say Sthapatya Vidya, etc. But here in general, Vidya here erudition or that learnedship. Somebody has learned, Vidyavan Purushaha. So he is very well educated. He is learned, Vidya. So here Vidya is, we can say, learning. So Vidya, and not only that, he is learning, he is also having Vinaya, modesty, that humility. He is not the arrogant fool. So it's a turn off that somebody is very learned, but he is ill behaved, and we don't respect, we don't give a damn. If you are too learned, we don't care. Vidya is there, Vinaya is there. We tend to respect it. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. In a Brahmana who is well learned and well mannered, who is endowed with both of these virtues, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. So, in such a Brahmana, then Gavi, in a cow, which is an animal of household, of domestic, everyone have it. We have a different relation of association with the cow, the approachability. Whereas Hastini, whereas the elephant is not everyone's property. It is mostly in the elephant house, in the armory of the king. It is only in the possession of a king. Not ordinary people can keep it. It is difficult to. So we have, that is a different kind of animal. It signifies different values. In a cow, ordinary animal, in a special animal like elephant. Shuni, that is a dog. Everywhere it is there. Now we tend to worship cow also. We generally are not worshipping dogs. Shuni chaiva shwapake cha. The abominable person, shwapaka, who eats abominable food, which is not generally a person should eat. Ill-kept. Shuni chaiva shwapake cha. So all these different kind of people. So this Brahmana, this cow, the elephant, the dog, or a shwapakaha, a abhorrible person. So the panditaha, the true knower of this Brahman, the person who is under discussion, this Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmashaha, he is the Pandit. He is truly Pandit because he is having the true knowledge, the first hand knowledge, not the bookish knowledge. He sees them with equanimity, Samadarshinaha, looks with an equal eye. So now the understanding of equanimity, this is very important. So Samadarshina, Pandita Samadarshina, what does it mean? Because this person, this Pandita, as it is described in the earlier verse, what is his nature like? Tad buddhayaha, tadatmanaha, tannishtaha, tat parayanaha. That is his nature. He is rooted in Brahman. He sees nothing but Brahman. He is not seeing Brahmana, a cow, or elephant, or dog, or any other person in their appearances, or judging them from their behavior, or their social circumstances, or present circumstances, what they are doing. He sees but one thing, that is that Brahman, that consciousness which is dwelling within every human being and trying to express it through different forms of action, of expression, of reaction. Only he sees. Now, I, re- I remember one example I was told. Vishveshwaraya ji, what was his initial? I have forgotten. So, the great engineering mind during British time, and he was the engineer of the kingdom of Mysore. So, in his name, different institute, in Nagpur, there is an engineering college, VNIT. Earlier, so Vishveshwaraya National Institute of Technology. You must have heard his name. You can read about, you can find out more in Wikipedia. So Vishveshwaraya ji and the king of Mysore kingdom, probably Chamraj Wadiyar but I do not remember that, recollect that. So they decided to have a trip to a beautiful natural location. And Vishveshwaraya ji was supposed to accompany the king's retinue, and they went there, and the sight was enthralling. It was really captivating, making anybody awestruck to see the play of the nature, the play of the force of natural elements. That's water falling down from hundreds of feet in such huge amount that its vibration could be felt. That moisture which is risen from the air, in the air, it could be felt. That sound could be heard. So it was a great experience, and king was mighty pleased. Everybody was praising, "Oh king, what a nice place you have brought us," everything. Vishveshwaraya was almost silent, So king knew that he is a very genius person. That's why he has brought him. So he was not an ordinary person. So king asked him, "Oh, Vishveshwaraya, what do you think?" And what was the expression of Vishveshwaraya, What did he say? His words were, "What a waste of energy." You can imagine all other, including the king, how their faces must have turned red as soon as Vishveshwaraya has uttered this word. That means everybody's first impression would be that what a waste of energy to come all the way to see this, as if it is a trash and meaningless. But somehow, king had trusted him, and he summoned his gathered his senses, and he says that Vishveshwaraya, what do you mean? It's a waste of energy. Don't you like it? And then Vishveshwaraya explains him that this is a so huge amount of energy which is falling in the form of water, which is without being captivated is getting wasted. That is what he meant by the waste of energy. The Mysore's that famous dam, Krishna Rajasagara, if I am not mistaken, is the creation of Chamraj Wadiyar. Of this Vishveshwaraya. So, how I was reminded of this anecdote. Because how the people with a different mindset perceive things very differently. Tad buddhayah. So their minds, their heart and brain, they are tuned in a different dimension itself, to different scale itself. They do not pursue Gavi, Hastini, Shwapaka, Brahmana. They are seeing all the Samadarshina, there is something equal in all these different beings. And he is seeing that he is not imposing any equality upon them. He is not imposing any equality upon them. Which is inherently, which is same, constant, equal in all of them. He is seeing that. He is rooted into that. That is Brahman. He is not equating a dog with a Brahman or cow with an elephant. No, he is not. Differences exist in another dimension, and their equality exists altogether on another plane. He is rooted onto that plane. Sri Ramakrishna in his sadhana days, we have read that what flowers he is supposed to offer to Mother Kali, or he is offering it on his own head, or what Naivedya which has to be offered to Mother Kali, that he is offering to a cat, right? He is doing that. For any other person trying to do that, it would be wrong. Like Sri Ramakrishna himself gave an example that of the disciple, when there was people rushing from the streets, that go away, a mad elephant is coming. And he is standing in between the road, thinking that he has now just learned that God is in every being, so I will pray to that God. God is also in elephant. The elephant rider, he is shouting that move away. But this person is standing still, and what happens? Because elephant comes, catch him by his trunk, and thrashes him on the ground. He is grievously hurt. What happened? He was thinking. He was just thinking. There is difference between thinking and realizing. It is not appropriate. Only his thinking will not change the reality. He had not realized, made it real. Realized, this word itself means made it real. It is yet to be made it real. That is yet to be realized. He has not made it real. Difference exists as the Mahut, the elephant rider, the elephant, and the Batuk, the student. Their equanimity rises. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying that God is there in the elephant, but God is also there in the Mahut. Why didn't you listen to that God? Or he says that God reflects equally on everything, on dirty water or clean water, pure water. But we do not use dirty water for drinking or for puja worship. We observe differences in the world where we experience differences. This person is not imposing equality upon them. Pandita Samadarshina, he is not. He is realizing that what is already equal in all of them. So this point has to be very well understood in practice of the ideas or when to understand them in reality. So, here Swami Swarupanandaji's small note is there. I will read that. Because they can see nothing but the self. They means these people are jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha or panditaha. These people. The person who has have that highest experience. Such a person can see nothing but the self. It makes no difference to the sun whether it is reflected in the Ganga, in the wine, in a small pool or in any unclean liquid. The same is the case with the self. No upadhi or limiting adjunct can attach to it. So, it cannot be colored, smeared by the container in which it is reflecting. It is not to be blamed. It is impartial. So, similarly, if we remember this, na kartrutvam, the 14th verse, na kartrutvam, na karmani, lokasya srujati prabhu, na karma phala sanyogam, swabhavastu pravartate, na adatya kasyachit papam, na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu, ajnanena avrutam jnanam, tena muhyanti jantavaha. That he is not deluded by this ajnana. His ajnana is completely removed. So, this is the state of mind of such a person, tad buddhaya tadatmana, and this is his behavior, that he is pandita samadarshinaha. So, this is expressed in 17th and 18th verse. So, in the next class onward, we will see some still more beautiful verses are to come in this chapter. We will go through it. And this chapter, the 5th chapter, one of the most beautiful and exalted verses you will find in this chapter, the 5th chapter, the Sannyas Yoga. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.